Hey man,
Hey, Brandon, how's it going?
going good. You?
I'm good.
Good. Can you see me?
No, I don't. Let's see.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, got it. All right, good. How you doing?
Doing good. I've been mowing a little bit.
Yeah,
Yep.
good. All right. So, just to start off with, what's your name and the position that you hold in leadership right now?
My name is Brandon Anders, and I'm the associate pastor at First Assembly of God in Minden, Louisiana, with a focus on college age and young adults.
Okay, awesome. How did you get to the position that you're in now?
Well, I just completed youth pastoring for 8 years as of January, and had been also kind of felt like God was leading me to start young adult ministry probably about two and a half years ago. And so me and my wife started that, and the two churches, Assembly of God churches here in Minden, merged together. Once they merged together, Tony Salas was the youth pastor at their church, and I was a youth pastor and a young adult pastor at our church. And so it was just made sense for him to become the full-time youth pastor for both churches, and for me to become the young adult pastor. So that's kind of how that happened.
All right, cool. What do you think some of the challenges of leadership are for you, and some of the ones that you've experienced in leadership?
Well, for me, I guess probably one of the toughest things is one, young adult ministry in this area, in the environment and the culture that I'm kind of used to, because we're kind of a country town and stuff. One of the difficult things was, one, there's not that many young adult ministries to follow other than the really big young adult ministries. And so that kind of made it a little tough, just because it's not that you have something else you can go by, just because there's not that many, country town young adult ministries. And so not really having some kind of blueprint to follow. I said, and another thing would be, most of our young adults that attend the service don't attend, or at the time did not attend our church. We have about 6 or 7 churches that are represented at the young adult ministry that we have on Tuesday nights, and for the most part, a matter of fact, at one part, me and my wife are the only ones from our church, just because it was such a small church at the time. We were the only ones that were even in the ministry, and so we have a lot from different other churches, different denominations. So obviously, we have several from a missionary Baptist background, and they still come, and so that was kind of different. They some of them received kind of flack from their family members, because they are so used to missionary Baptist way, and we didn't promote the Assemblies of God. We did not promote our church, actually, and it had nothing to do with our church other than we used one of the buildings at our church. And so, I guess family issues with some of the people were part of it. And the other part was, at one point I had 3 or 4 different other ministers coming, as far as, paid youth pastors or, bivocational youth pastors of some sort, and different teachers and stuff. And for me, I guess the challenge was I deal with confidence issues a lot. So one of my problems was, I always just, once I got it done, I would always be like, I felt like I did horrible, and I feel like, just kind of feeling inadequate on that kind of stuff. But it was tough, just because, sometimes they would be sitting there talking to you, and after the service, and say, well, that was good, which was great, but then the devil would, I'd go home and the devil would just be beating me up over it and stuff. So I'd say that probably my 3 biggest challenges was, one, family issues, just because, of the Assemblies of God type thing. Matter of fact, on one social media thing that we don't follow, it's not one of the big ones, but somebody put on there the other day that Journey was a cult, and that's the name of our young adult ministry. So, catching kind of flack from that kind of stuff. And then just, my confidence issues, and then, just having to deal with not having a blueprint. So that would be what I would think.
So how did it look for you not having a blueprint to follow or anything to sort of model it after? How did that look, just kind of coming up with that and leading people through it?
Well, I think I say I don't have a blueprint, or I didn't have a blueprint, and I really didn't, but how it kind of got started was I went with the Louisiana Youth Ministries on a missions trip and took some students down to Miami to be a part of a thing down there. And when I went, it was a pretty rough missions trip for me. I'm a little city boy, I don't like to do a whole lot of stuff or whatever. So it was pretty rough on that. But one of the things that was really cool was they let us go to Trinity Miami, which is Rich Wilkerson Jr.'s church, and they have a young adult ministry that meets on Tuesday nights called The Boot. And so for me, I didn't follow most of the stuff that they do by a long shot, just because one, they're reaching a whole different environment than I'm used to, and really laid back as far as lifestyles and different things like that. Not necessarily saying it's wrong; it's just different than Minden, Louisiana. But I kind of followed some things. And it was kind of in July when we kind of started thinking I started praying about it and felt like God was leading me this way. But I kind of followed the whole Tuesday night thing, thinking about how that would be, as far as that, whether or not, Tuesday night would work best or whatever. They did a lot of stuff with social media as far as Twitter, whereas, especially I've learned a lot more lately, that Twitter is not a Minden thing. At all. But if you go 30 minutes down the road in Bossier City, there's a young adult ministry there called 318 Live, and they do nothing but Twitter type stuff. And so I just kind of looked at some of their stuff and pulled off, obviously social media was a different thing and all that kind of stuff. I did look at the Assemblies of God young adult website and just researched a bunch of stuff, printed off a bunch of stuff, looked at different denominations type stuff. And we didn't start for maybe 4 or 5 months. I didn't want to start in it and just be something, kind of cheesy or anything like that. But one of the things that we did was, we started off with kind of a food thing, because one of the things that I read was, if you feed them, obviously that's a big thing for young adults, especially if they're getting off work during the middle of the week. And so we tried it. It was kind of expensive the first year. So let me just reiterate, it was really expensive the first year. So we had a lot of po' boy sandwich type stuff. So we ended the first year with an average of about 9. And then I guess the last full year we had probably around, tell whoever just came in, hey. Anyways, we had probably around 18 or 19, and now we're averaging anywhere from 20 to 25. Following that kind of thing, some of it I just kind of felt like God was leading me with. We still do food and stuff. It's still kind of tough, but I have different people that I ask to cook once a month. I ask them to pay for it. If they can commit for 5 months, then we do it that way. And I tried some stuff as far as online, as far as Alpha something that was kind of promoted by the Assembly of God young adult thing. And honestly, there was some good ideas on there, but it just didn't have a whole lot that kind of benefited me. I just kind of took a few little things from there and tried to make it my own. I did a lot of stuff. I kind of have a core group. I have a big leadership team as far as about 20 people, 15 people actually that are on that. But I have about 4 or 5 and just talk to them. We started off with just sitting around some tables, and we'd eat at 6:30, and then we'd just kind of have a meal thing. And then after a little while, we started having worship the next year and doing a little bit of like that. And now we eat still, and we have full blown worship. And then it's more of a preaching style instead of a round table type thing. And so it's just kind of grown a little bit. But the main thing that kind of helped me grow was just talking to the young adults in my area, just because they know what they want. And it doesn't matter if I'm here or somebody else is 30 minutes away. It's not going to help me none.
Yeah.
So,
It's cool.
I don't know if I'm being too detailed or what, but just let me know if I am.
No, it's good. It's good. And last question. What are some of the rewards of leadership, or just kind of the rewards of some of what you've been doing?
One person kind of sticks out, and her friend is my wife's friend named Mary, and Mary is one of those missionary Baptists that I was kind of talking about, and I've had several people kind of like Mary that has sit there and said that this is exactly what they needed at the right time. And obviously, it's not me. We all get that or whatever. But it's more of just me being obedient to what God wanted to start. It was really, really tough trying to do youth on Wednesday nights right after you've done young adults on Tuesday night. And when you had been a youth pastor for about 6 years before this started, it was really hard to get out of the mindset of youth pastor mode where you talk to people as kids and stuff, and you don't mean to, but you just kind of do. But even though I second guess myself a lot and different things like that, Mary is one of those that kind of fits the mold of a lot of people that are kind of going through church but not really going through the motions and stuff. I mean, going through the motions and stuff, but just not having that relationship there. And she's growing a lot, and it's kind of helped me out with a lot of stuff. She loves administrative stuff. And matter of fact, tomorrow night we'll have our first movie night where we go over to somebody's house and, have a big movie thing or whatever. But as far as stuff like that, it's just been an encouragement to see them grow from somewhere where they were just having a relationship as far as very laid back, still going to parties, having a little bit of alcohol every once in a while and just acting like it's no big deal, to where, they truly have grown in the relationship. Matter of fact, she has visited our church a couple of times on a Sunday night, and it's kind of caused a lot more family issues because she feels like she's supposed to join our church. And again, we don't promote our church at all. She just kind of feels that calling or whatever and wants to be a part of it. And she's, as a matter of fact, she went to her church with her family on Easter Sunday, and, they got into it in the middle of church. And, her parents are just concerned about her and different things like that. But it's been so cool to see her grow. We have a vocational college here in our town that's they just built a new building, so it's kind of booming. And we've got to open up some doors there and help out with that, and picked up several people from there. But a lot of people have just said, that it's been a huge encouragement right at the right time, and that they needed something for young adults. They feel like it's kind of like the whole junior high phase. Like, they'll sit there and they don't fit in the youth group and they don't fit in the kids' church. Well, it's kind of the same thing with young adults. They don't really fit into the whole church thing, or at least in this area they don't. And then they also don't fit in youth group. They want to be an adult, but at the same time they want to have fun with games and stuff. And so it's kind of the bridge that we've been kind of wanting. And a lot of people. I was talking to a board member guy last night about something, and he was talking about how they say most people, if they're going to walk away from God, they do it before their sophomore year in college. And I just kind of said, I think it starts happening their sophomore year in high school. But usually if they had the foundation, even though they walk away for a while, sometimes, they'll come back around and stuff. And I just kind of wanted Journey to be that thing to where it kind of bridges the gap in that area to where, it's not, I'll wake up 30 years old with 3 kids and a wife, and where we're going to start going to church for the kids and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's something there to kind of help them rebound if they do mess up and stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I want to say thank you for talking and letting me do this interview. I really appreciate it.
It's no problem. And if you ever need to talk, or if you ever need me to do anything like this again, I totally don't mind. I'm sorry it took me 4 days to get to you or whatever. It's just it's been